Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and welcome to Subconscious Dialogues. I am in a place right now. It is the end of September 22nd. It is a Friday, and it is at the end of a very productive week. So I am coming on to show you and share with you my week because it has just been like... So where do I even begin? Once upon a time, I started the garden with this vision. I saw it at the end, and I quit my job the next day. I quiet quit it. I need to clarify, it was absolutely a quiet quit. And it walked me into this world of just, I need to do this. This is my calling. I have figured my shit out. And I did. I went out and I immediately saw the end result of the Healing Garden. And it was an immediate sit down, putting things into perspective and making this plan to go forward with it. And I put it all into place and I did it. And it's been this massive shuffling of the stepping stones from point A to point B. And while I'm doing all of this, I'm analyzing shit, I'm breaking it down, and I'm trying to figure out what direction I'm going to take it. And my real true passion above all else is networking. I love meeting people. I love swapping resources is what I call it, where it's this is my resources. What are your resources? And we just stone soup the shit out of everything we have. And I had a lot of mental work to still straighten out, and I did. And as I straightened out my mental work, I had my private life with I don't have a private life. I have not had a private life ever, actually. You know, now that I think about it, I've never fucking had a private life because my private life was absolutely taken away from me and thrown all over the place. This is actually a really good point to really reflect on this. I'm very, I have no qualms about talking about anything. For me, TMI is like privacy. What the fuck is privacy? And the reason why is because everybody was up in my fucking business all of my life. My classmates were up in my fucking business, my parents, my church. There was nothing private. Privacy meant secrets. And everybody knew what I was. Everybody knew what I had. Everybody was just in my fucking business. You know, and that's really it. Everyone was in my fucking business. And I remember I went skinny dipping when I was 15, 16, 14. And the entire class got together, and I found all of them laughing in a circle. And I asked them what was so funny. Everyone saw me and shut right up, except my best friend, who, while laughing, said, "You remember the other day when we went to the river and you were skinny dipping?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, the boys were watching." I'm a nudist, so it was like, grow the fuck up. And it was so, even by then, what was done to me, publicly raped, there's just no privacy. I'm just so, and in 2015, when I started my therapy and I wrote my fucking journal. And when I was done with my journal, I said, let's publish this. Like Diary of Anne Frank. This is something that's been on my mind since like 6th fucking grade. I'm reading Diary of Anne Frank, and all I can think about is, does this girl consent to having her diary published? Did anyone ask Anne Frank if she wants her diary published? Like every fucking book in the world, except for Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, the author consented. And I'm looking at Silmarillion. Silmarillion was a manuscript found in a drawer by Christopher, and Christopher published it. And I'm thinking, did John say, I want this published? Now, my favorite book in the entire world is Silmarillion. So it is with full, author's rights, consent. It was his own personal thing that he wrote for himself. Silmarillion was 100% for the author, by the author, to the author. We were never supposed to see it. Christopher took it and published it. And it's a huge, and I'm sitting here going, I'm pretty sure Tolkien did not want Silmarillion published, because this is a man who He wrote The Hobbit and said, here, publish this. And then he wrote Lord of the Rings and he said, here, publish this. And then they said, no, you got to chop it up because there's a war on. So he chopped it up into 3 pieces and then he went, here, now publish this. And with Silmarillion, it was in a drawer. So I'm sitting here reading Anne Frank's diary. And all I could think about the entire time is, how would I feel? How would anyone feel if somebody, like, you die and your parents go, okay, well, not your parents, but somebody goes, you know what you should publish? This girl's diary. Yeah, that's right. Like, this girl did not consent to her fucking journal going published. It bothers me. It really fucking bothers me. Really fucking bothers me that we published Anne Frank's diary. Violation much? Like, I can see this poor child coming back, like, it all comes out at the end. She realizes, you did what? You took my diary and you did what with it? You fucking published it? Like, how? What a violation. And then these dipshits are sitting there having you read it in high school. And it's like, I'm pretty sure Anne Frank did not consent to us reading her diary. Anyway, so I published my diary with my consent. And there's no, like, I have no filter. I have no filter. And I remember people asking me, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh, no, my privacy was taken away from me since I was like 6 months old. I have had no privacy my whole life. And it's interesting because I never really thought of that as a trauma response. I never, ever thought about it as a trauma response. I'm on the theater, I'm on the stage, and I'm just like, yeah, shit happens to me. And I'm like, yeah. And I put it out there when I wrote my journal and then I published it. And then I'm sitting here blogging about my healing journey. My therapist went through this whole thing with me. This is back in 2015 when I was doing my blog originally, and my therapist was analyzing it. Well, not analyzing that, but she was working with me. And she's like, you realize you're putting your stuff out there, right? You know, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, well, why not? And she's like, well, that's private. Yeah, about that. What's ever been private in my life? And I went through a period where I tried to practice privacy. And then I went to this mindset where I went, a lot of people can really benefit from this shit. A lot of people can really fucking benefit from my speaking out. And I don't have any privacy. I don't feel this violation. I don't feel like I have to explain myself. I'm thinking, if I'm the first one on the front lines giving information to people, sharing my story to say, hey, look, this is the shit of what, this is inside trauma. This is at the end of the day, this is it. It's inside trauma. Then why not? If it's going to be that beneficial for others to heal from, why the fuck not? So I put it out there. Yeah. I never really thought about my privacy or my lack of a privacy being a trauma response. So I put my journal out there in 2015, and here I am, like, documenting my healing journey through my blog, Exploratory Dialogues. There's Exploratory Dialogues on my author website, Angela B. Chrysler, and then I have my Exploratory Dialogues, which is on my healing garden, Anna's Healing Garden. And I remember I went through this period where I was terrified of my lives merging. I was terrified of worlds mixing. So I had things from that realm, like, oh, if you know Angela, I don't want people to know Anna. So there was like a 2-year, 3-year where I did not want worlds to merge. I'm definitely over that now. Like, I'm perfectly fine with people making the correlation. And I went through a period where someone on the internet tracked down my real name to my business and they found my children. That scared the fuck out of me. So for a while, I was like, for protecting my children, for purposes of protecting my children, like, she just freaked the fuck out of me that she was able to and did track me down to the point where she was like, oh yeah, I found your name. It was on a dating app and I had given her my alias and she had found my books, my everything. And she bought my books, which is fine. But the fact that she was able to track it down to, knew my house, knew my kid, I'm like, okay, now I'm fucking creeped out. So that was something that scared the shit out of me for a while. And that's really when I became private about my own life, and not private, but I wanted to make sure my kids were safe. So there was like this gap. And I just kept shifting stones and moving them into a certain position so that I could get to where it is I saw this vision. And it was infuriating because I saw this very clear vision of where my life was going. And it was always in the future. And I'm going, why am I putting it in the future? It needs to be in the present. It needs to be in the now. So I have it in the now. And the more I realize that it's not a far off distant thing, the more realistic it's like manifesting isn't actually manifesting is realizing the dream is actually in the present. That's manifesting. It's when you realize that the dream is actually the present, and that what you seek is not actually in the future. And I know there's going to be some wise ass in the audience who says something really stupid like, well, I want $1 million and there's not $1 million. You're missing the fucking point. You're really missing the fucking point. And I know that's going to be the case. And I just got to say, every time I look at a clock now over the last 3 days, I see 11111. And I'm like, yes, yes, I'm on the right path. And that's like the universe is cheering me on. Yeah, you're on the right path. You're almost there. Like, it's wonderful. Earlier today, I looked at my phone and I saw 111. And then I looked at the timer and I saw 1111. And I'm like, yes. And it's just all over now. The last 3 days, I have just been hit with solid 11111111s. And I'm like, yes. It's like the lotto hits when you find 111111. Like, yes, the lotto is coming. So, and I'll tell you what changed this week. I'll tell you what changed this week. First, I saw my partner. And that was, every time I make a mistake with my partner, I walk away from it feeling like that mistake was a very good mistake, because that mistake opened this door. So now when I make a mistake with my partner, I don't dread it so much as I can feel the opportunity open. And I love the C drop. The C drop is in psychology when you're at A and you hit B and you think things are going great, and then boom, it plummets and you're just like, oh my God, it's such a terrible time right now. And then boom, and it jumps way up. Every time, always, this is the C drop. The C drop is when you are going through anything and things are going kind of okay, and then they get really, really bad. And then they get really, really good. Every time, no matter what. And I know why. Well, psychologists know why. It's because imagine you're taking math. And when you start off, they start you easy with like little math problems to refresh your memory. And then you get like a little bit harder math problems. But it's right before the final exam, right before you get to the end of your grade, that they give you the hardest material. And then they give you this test. And you're just like, I don't understand it. And you don't get it. And then finally you snap, you get it, and you jump up in education. And you're like, oh, I get it now. And there's that comprehension. And it's like this tension. It's exactly like this tension. And it's the same thing in psychology. This is the psychology of growth. We all go through it. So I'm at a point now, whenever I get to the C drop, I throw a party. Oh my God, everything's going so terrible for me. Yes! Because it's going to get really good. Well, that's where I was on Sunday and Monday. I was at the C drop. I was at the worst my relationship has ever been. And I went, yep, I'm done. I'm putting this thing down and I'm just walking away. And I watched that man of mine pick it up and carry it for me. And I stopped and I just looked at him like, you picked it up. You picked it up. He carried the relationship the first year when I was too fucked up to help. And then when he finally reached that point of, Anna, I can't carry it anymore. I love you, but I can't carry this anymore. And he put it down. And I picked it up and I said, okay, well, I'm better now. So now I'm going to carry it. And I've been carrying it for a year. And he's been healing. We get to that point where I'm carrying it and I can't carry it any longer. And that's where I was on Sunday. I could not carry that any longer. And I just put it down and I said, I don't care if I lose this anymore. I'm done. I don't have the strength to carry this any longer. And I figured he's not going to pick it up. So I just walked away from it. And he picked it up. And he carried it. And I just stood there staring at him with my mouth open, slack-jawed, going, you picked it up. And I did not think he would. And that's our relationship, is we take turns picking it up and carrying it. And it changed things. It changed things. I've been through so many breakups, that I know the psychological pattern of a breakup. And this isn't it. I've been through this so many fucking times. When you go through a breakup, there's lashing out, and there was none of that between he and I. When we broke up, there was comfort, as in we both took turns hugging, holding each other, cradling each other. I've never ever seen anything like that before. We, to this day, cannot handle the other being upset, so we spend time comforting, and we spend time comforting each other. And then it's like we had a fight a year ago and we never made up because we're just both in too much pain. And we never quit on each other. We stayed with each other through all of it. And then he got to a point where I went through something horrific, and he dropped the world and ran to me without me asking. I didn't even think to ask him. I was calling him in a car accident, and he was like, I'm on my way. And he was on his way. And when he had obstacle after obstacle, it didn't stop him. He got to me. And then, same thing. I went through something else, and he dropped the world, and he was right there. That was in May, February, and then in May. And then it was a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, he was going through something. He called me at 2 a.m. And I felt him calling. I felt him pick up the phone before he dialed the number. It wasn't the phone call ringing that woke me up. It was him touching the phone, dialing my number. I was awake. I looked at my phone, and then it rang. And I was up. I was like, where do you need me? I'm on my way. And there I was at 2 a.m., an hour and a half train ride away from him, waiting. No questions asked. Just, I'll drop the world and I'm on my way. And that was the moment I realized, bottom line, that's our story. That is our story. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what bullshit we want to tell each other. We are at that point where it's drop the world and we're there for the other. And I spent all of this time pining for that kind of a relationship, not realizing I had that kind of a relationship. And that's all the shit that I'm toggling while I'm building the garden. And I'm sitting here putting the garden together, and I'm like, where do I want to go with this? And my authenticity is saying, what do you want to do, Anna? What do you want to do? And I can hear the intuition. I can hear the universe. Everybody being the universe and my intuition screaming, what do you want to do? Just tell me what it is you want to do. And I can feel it. This is how the internal dialogue goes. Well, I really want to network, but really, who gets paid networking? Stop thinking about the money. What do you want to fucking do, bitch? Okay, fine. I want to network. I just want to sit on my ass and talk to people all day. That's what I want to do. I want to become the who's who of the world. I want to be that person of, do you know Anna? Everyone knows Anna. Everyone knows Anna. Yeah. You know who you should meet? You need to meet Anna. Anna knows everybody. That is who I want to be. I want to be Anna knows everybody. And I want to network. That is my primary, that's what I want to do. I want to network. The second thing I want to do is podcast, because I love to fucking podcast. I love to podcast because I love to talk, because I love to practice my speaking. I will probably always podcast for the rest of my life. This is my happy place. If I could just sit on my fucking ass and podcast and network. Oh yeah. You know who I need to know? Everybody. So that's that. And I'm going, I have a stage. I have a stage right here and I love it. And so I'm podcasting. I'm there. And I don't have to push it or do anything or make it grow because it's here and I've already got what I want. So I went, all right, I got 2 things down. Check, check. And then I thought, oh, well, I got to get a team in here and I got to get all this. And I felt me rushing and I felt all of this pressure on me that I put on myself. And then the universe went, whoa, 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 why are you not? Do you savor the fucking journey? And I'm like, yeah, I need to savor the journey. I need to savor the journey. I'm going too fast, aren't I? You're going too fast. I am going too fast. I need to chill. I need to chill the fuck out. Savor the journey. Maybe this is the shitty quality camera period of my life. That's right. This is the shitty camera quality period of my life. This is when my tech is so garbage. And that's okay because I don't need good shit right now because that's not where I am. I'm on the journey of getting good shit. That's where I am in my journey. And I'm going, yeah, that's right. Savor it. Slow down. There's no patriarchy, Anna. And I say that to myself every single day. Slow down. You're not in the patriarchy anymore. There's no rat race here. That's right. I gave up the rat race. So then why are you rushing? Good point. Good point. So I found my people of networking. I found 2 beautiful resources and I'm expanding that. And I'm going, yes, I collect people. It started. And then the universe said, what else do you want to do? Well, I definitely do want to do public speaking. I love the idea of doing public speaking. And then I hear about people who do like 5 public speaking events a week. And I'm like, wow, that's so, oh God, I can't, no. I could do a public speaking once a month, maybe twice a month. Yeah, I could do that once to twice a month. And what I really want is a community here in New York City. I want the ability to pull my friends together and say, we're going to do a class. I just want 3 hours on Thursdays to fucking chill. So I want my workshop. I love my integration workshop, Journey into the Self. And yeah, I love that. I love the idea of doing the DIY triadic healing. I love that. And to be honest with you, you all are out there doing your own DIY healing. That's kind of becoming the thing. Have you noticed that everyone's DIYing their own healing? And I'm going, you are DIYing your own healing. Why the fuck am I just not giving you what it is you already want? So I put together my syllabus. I put together the Triadic Healing. I'm going to write a book. I am going to write a book. I am going to write a book on the subconscious mind's guide. And I realized, you know what you're really doing, Anna? What? I am putting together a platform, an author platform. So when I write this book, I can say, hey, the book is out. And you guys can all go grab the little book. And it's going to be like a little 90-page book. It's going to be a tiny little thing. And it is going to literally be a DIY triadic healing walkthrough of this is everything you need to know about the subconscious mind. Now, read the user's handbook. And while you're doing that, go ahead and do these exercises. And I've got these little things that I'm putting together. I've got the triliminals that I have that this beautiful neuroscientist putting together for me. Triliminals. I love it. And that's going to be part of my triadic healing so that people can just start brainwashing goodness into their brain so they can uncondition all the shit that they had dumped on them. And then I just want to celebrate authenticity. That's it. I just want to celebrate authenticity. And I'm going to go on stage as I am, because that's my keynote speech, as I am. And I show people this is what authenticity looks like. And most of you don't know what it looks like because you haven't seen it yet. Excuse me. So I'm looking at my outline of where I'm wanting to go. And I want to just have so many people in my back pocket that when I say, you know what I'm going to do X. And then poof, I've got people. And I go do X. And sometimes I have fear, but it's a different kind of fear. And I can't quite put my finger on it. It's a different kind of fear. It's not fear It's hesitation. It's shyness. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And yeah, I definitely want to do my DIY Triadic Healing. Oh yeah, and my one-on-ones. I really am loving my one-on-ones. And I'm thinking, well, I don't want to be so completely overworked. And it's like, Anna, you're not in the rat race anymore. You're not going to be overworked ever again, honey. Yeah. Yeah, that's the trauma. That's the patriarchy trauma. I don't talk about that. I don't think about that. I don't know anyone else who has escaped the system like I have. So I'm going to talk for a bit on the PTSD of the rat race. Wow. Rat race trauma. That's what we're going to talk about right now. Rat race trauma. I'm going to write it down. The rat race trauma. The rat race trauma is the fact that you associate work with overwork. The fact that you associate work with being miserable. The fact that you associate work with abuse. The fact that you associate work with insecurity and domestic terrorism. Because if you don't do X, they threaten your security. And then there's associating work with time and urgency. And I've been out of the system for a year. And I can feel me resisting. It's resistance. That's what it is. The rat race trauma is a resistance. It's not fear. It isn't shyness or hesitation. It's resistance to trauma. Because I am not totally yet recovered from being out of the rat race. So when you get out of the rat race too, you're going to have residual trauma, where you're going to brace for abuse that you're just not going to know what to do with yet. That's where I'm at. I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, you don't. You're safe now, Anna. That is the hardest thing that I have to tell myself every single day. It's the acceptance and the realization that I am safe from having my livelihood taken away from me. It is fear of being overworked, fear of being miserable or abused by an employer, fear that if I don't do X at a certain time period, I'm going to lose my job, fear that I'm not going to have money or a job or the ability to feed my children if I don't show up at an exact precise time. That no one's going to take the garden away from me. That no one's going to take the garden away from me. And they told me so many bullshit lies. Being your own boss has its own problems. Being your own boss comes with worse. No, it's not. Being your own boss is liberating. Because if you decide not to get your fucking ass up in the morning, you don't get your fucking ass up in the morning and it's fine. If you decide, you know what, I'm having a mental day. Sorry, guys, here's my podcast. I love you, but I need to take a mental day. That is a liberty you don't have in the rat race. And that's something I'm not used to yet. It's something that I really am still struggling with is I have residual trauma from living in the rat race. And I've been out of it for a year, and I'm still looking over my shoulder, and I'm still like bracing for impact, and I'm still waiting for somebody to fire me. And it's like, you're okay now. You're safe. You can be your authentic self. And I'm thinking, well, I want to get more tattoos. Can I do that? Of course I can do that. I can be weird, and I can dye my hair some really weird shit. And I want 5 million viewers on YouTube. That's my goal, and I'm going to get there authentically. I'm going to do it. I absolutely am going to do it. It's going to be so fucking awesome. And yeah. All right, I'm going to be a YouTuber when I grow up. I am a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber. And I'm not going to obsess about getting to 5 million viewers. I'm just going to be like, hey, I'm going to enjoy this journey with you. Because this is what authentic living looks like. And right now I'm talking about triadic healing. Right now I'm ramming it down your throats. Right now I'm giving you as many courses as I can because that's where I am. But it's going to change. I'm going to eventually get so sick of talking about triadic healing where I'm just going to go, you know what? I've exhausted the subject. Just go look at my channel. And I'm going to switch it from triadic healing over to living by example, authentic, the age of authenticity. That's coming. I know it is. And I'm looking at all of it going, I'm here. It's like, I feel like the Land Before Time when they spend the whole movie and you feel that journey. It's 2 hours for you. It's like 6 months for them. It's a year for them. It's like Walking Dead. You're like, you're trudging along and you feel like you've been on that journey with them for hours. But for them, it's been years, like 12 years. So when you finally get to Alexandria, you feel it. It feels like that. And then there's that day when you finally wake up and you're like, I made it to the Great Valley. Well, now what do we do? And it's like this massive, what do you do? And that's really, I can feel it in my brain where it's fighting it, where it's going, you got to go somewhere, you got to do something. Wait, chill. We made it. There's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. You made it. I'm actually getting that tattooed on my foot. You made it. I made it. I made it. And now all I have to do is sit on my ass and do what makes me happy. And I'm going, pause, slow down, sip your martini. I hate martinis. And just enjoy the day. And it's like, I don't have to pursue anything. And this is just it. I've been doing this for 30 fucking years. I've been clawing my way out of this enslavement for 30 years. And I can feel it in my brain going, who do you have to fight? Who do you have to? Shh. It's over now. It's over now. You made it. And I'm with my partner and I have this relationship and it's actually going along really well. And I don't have to work for it. It's easy. It's all easy now. And that's it. That's really it right there. Is it's so easy now. And it's been so fucking hard for the first 40 years that now it's like the work is done. The work is done. This is life. This is where you're supposed to be. And this is where they don't want you to get to, because once you get here, you realize, well, what the fuck? This is so fucking easy. Life is easy. And then they can't control you. So they give you this bullshit delusion that life is hard when it's not. You think it's easy if you work a 9 to 5, but it's actually fucking hard. It's a nightmare. It is so easy being your authentic self. It is the easiest fucking thing in the world. And that's something that I keep. If it's easy, it's right. If it's hard, it's not for you. If it's hard, it's not for you. And I'm sitting here I can feel it finally just settle into my chest and just relax. And I'm like, all I have to do is ask. All I have to do is ask. I want 40 members in my group workshop. And I want 5 million followers on my YouTube channel. And I want 5 clients for Triadic Healing. And suddenly, just like that, it's easy. It's so fucking easy. And I have these networking events I go to. And I'm there and I'm talking to people and I'm like, okay, I have to come up with a 60-minute elevator pitch. How do you explain to people in 60 seconds what I do? What I do? I get people out of the matrix. I rescue people from the matrix. I rescue people from the matrix. That's what I do. I rescue people from the matrix. And I show them a different way to live. Yeah, I do. I show them a different way to live. And when you really think of it like that, you're so overworked and you're so enslaved and you're so caught up in the rat race, and it never occurs to you that it can be different. It never occurred. No, it did occur to me that it could be different because I was born into this concept of this. I refuse to believe this is all there is in life. I know there's something more. And that was I was obsessed with that. And then I talk to people and they're like, this is it. No, it's not. And I found it and I'm there and I'm going, wow, this is life. What are you really afraid of? What is the worst thing that could happen? And then I start to think of the worst thing that could happen, and it's so fucking ludicrous. It's laughable. And that's when I realize how absolutely ridiculous fear is. And then I stop being afraid. Because fear is just a lack of trust. That's all it is. Fear is just a lack of trust. So when you're afraid, you're not actually tackling fear. You are taking on the state of not trusting. And when you're trying to address fear, maybe that's why we're not overcoming fears, because we're addressing fear instead of trust. So maybe we should address trust. The psychology of trust. Yeah, I see my path ahead. If you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow, share this with someone you know who you think it can benefit, and comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you. If there's something you want me to tackle, pick at, explain, let me know. And donate to the garden. Help the garden grow. Click on the link below if you are interested in triadic healing. I've got DIY, an integration workshop, one-on-one consultations. It's a whole lot of fun. Learn how to live differently. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.